Welcome to Real Flix Reviews. We're like a book club for people hate reading. This month's theme is childhood favorites, so I picked the movie Transformers made in 1986, and we bring you movie news at the end of the program. This week we have Jonathan Charney, James Stevens, Ryan Preston, and the old guy's on vacation. He said something about a hootenanny. So who has the description of this movie?
I want to read this one.
Before you do that, I really wish I had an excuse as good as a hootenanny. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun. So the Autobots must stop a colossal planet-consuming robot. Really? Consuming robot who goes after the Autobot matrix of leadership. At the same time, they must defend themselves against an all-out attack from the Decepticons.
They just spoiled the whole movie.
That's
I gotta say one thing about this movie, though. I don't know if anybody knows anything about actors or voice actresses, but besides having one of the greatest voices ever, Orson Welles, you got Robert Stack, Leonard Nimoy, Kasem, Jed Nelson. You can keep her or not, but you have Scatman Crothers. You have Scatman Crothers, the legendary Don Messick. If you don't know him, he did Scooby-Doo, and Frank Welker, who's done practically everything. So you have a pretty amazing ensemble of voice actors in this movie.
Yeah, I mean there are quite a bit.
What was that, Ryan?
Didn't Casey Kasem do Scooby-Doo?
Yeah, he did Shaggy.
He did Shaggy, but didn't he also do Scooby?
No, I don't think so. Not that I'm aware of, but I could be wrong.
And the one who threw me off for a second, I guess I just didn't realize it at the time, was Eric Idle was in this freaking film.
Yeah, that caught my attention too.
Eric Idle?
Yeah.
He's Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Oh, and the Micro Machine guy, if you're old enough to actually remember that commercial. He played Blur.
Oh, I remember that commercial.
He played the character Blur.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I realize it may not be the greatest movie ever, but personally I think it's better than the abortions called the Michael Bay Transformer movies. All of
I
them.
don't know, man. I thought the action was just as hard to follow.
You know, I'm with Ryan on this one.
At least it has an excuse. It's from the 80s and it's from a cartoon.
That's true, but I gotta say, there was times I'm just like, really? We just go from one hectic thing to the next hectic thing and another hectic thing? That's really what it felt like throughout this whole movie. And, okay, now I gotta point this part out, too. As I watched this with my 6-year-old, who likes Transformers.
Mm-hmm.
I love this. This is going to be awesome.
She walked out. She said, Dad, like, half an hour into the movie, goes, Dad, I think I'm going to go outside and play. I'm like, okay. Well, I'm not offended. It's just like, okay.
Well, I'm not really...
What are these strange noises coming from the TV? Sweetie, that's 80s music.
I'm not really surprised. I grew up with Gen 1 Transformers, and in all honesty, I have a hard time watching the new ones because they're not what I grew up watching. I mean, I've seen 95% of all of them, but...
Yeah, but I got to put this out there. This just doesn't hold up.
See, I disagree.
Okay, well, let me split the difference if I can.
No.
This was a ramp up from the TV show.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And that's really what you kind of want in one of these movies is for it to ramp up. But it went a little too Highlander with the music. Like some of it was just an excuse to put the music out there, so you'd have the 3.5-minute fight scene that spans the entire 80s hair metal song.
Totally.
It of shit like heavy metal and random things like that. But first of all, it played like 3 TV shows in a row. That's pretty much what this thing was.
It was like 4 episodes, long. It'd been like 4 episodes.
Like 4 episodes just back to back. They even had commercial breaks, like not the actual commercials themselves, but did you ever notice when it just went black and it comes back and they're in the middle of the fight again?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where commercials would go. Insert commercials here. And then the way that they ramped it up was just a ripoff from, Galactus or Darkseid or something. The Planet Eater.
Yeah, this is between season 2 and 3. So this is the introduction of Rodimus Prime and Hot Rod or whatever his name was, played by Judd Nelson.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, this is kind of a typical 80s cartoon. They kind of zoomed from one part of the galaxy to other just by a quick, wipe. I'm surprised they didn't do like a star wipe or something. There were some things that are a little odd, but it's a cartoon and it's from the 80s. And there's a lot of excuses here because basically this was a giant episode. This was like an hour and plus or 2 hour.
I get that,
Transformers
but
cartoon.
even still, as a kid, I did like Transformers, but I don't remember liking the movie very much.
I remember loving the movie.
I remember being slightly devastated when I thought Optimus Prime was dead.
Yeah, I remember that bothering me, but that wasn't that bad. I mean, it was kind of like one of those where it was like once they took the little gem glowing heart thing out, I was
The
kind of like,
Matrix of leadership.
all right,
The Matrix of leadership. God, you watch this shit now and just...
Well, here's the funniest thing. All of them, a lot of the new ones have actually almost verbatim reproduced the storylines.
They do. Even
Yes,
the one that came out in like the 90s, Beast Wars.
Yeah, so
They did the same thing at one point.
so they're basically milking the 80s, which I do want to say though I actually love the soundtrack. I do actually own it because it's pretty much sums up all of the 80s music in one CD.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can't agree with you there. I was not happy with the 80s music. It was like, really? I
No, the
forgot
good
how
thing
much
about
this
Beast
crap
Wars is
sucked.
They bled the 80s out of it.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but this CD this is like the definition of the 80s. I mean, all you're missing is the guys in makeup doing doing power ballads. It's pretty much the 80s in one. And I always thought, including having Weird Al, which was kind of strange.
There was a lot of 80s mixes made during and after the 90s. I'm sorry, the 80s. I don't think I would have bought any of them that made me watch that along with it.
Wow, I'm actually surprised. I mean, you love Clockwork Orange, and you're crapping
I
on
thought it
this.
would have been, Lost Boys.
Are you fucking kidding me, John? Did you just compare Transformers the movie
You're-
to
okay.
A Clockwork Orange?
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. So I should
We're gonna
say.
have this discussion?
Okay, so I should say the abortion that is super
Where the hell's my popcorn?
compared
Okay,
to Transformers.
That's at least on the same kind of
I'll
level
agree.
playing field.
I'll agree. Clockwork Orange was a little that wasn't right. I mean, so I apologize. The devil
Let's-
made me do it.
Why don't we do Lost Boys instead?
Makes a big man do it when he's wrong.
Or Rocky? Can we compare Rocky or Lost Boys to this film now?
So
no,
Rocky
so-
would be a pretty good analogy to this because you have the over exaggerated, everybody takes too much punishment towards the end and then everything is successful. It's just this huge lead up to this big payoff and then it's over.
Since this is probably going to be the lowest rated episode ever, what did you like about the movie, James and Ryan? Because I'm obviously a fanboy of the cartoon, so.
I think I heard a cricket.
Really, to give it credit, man, it was the shit.
I heard his girlfriend clapping.
Scatman Carruthers rules. I can't believe in his what probably had to be his 80s he was still doing that.
He was very old.
Didn't
then.
he die right after this?
He died in the 90s, I thought.
Well, I think
This was 86.
okay.
So he died sometime in the early 90s.
because I know this was one of like the last things he ever did, which is a fucking shame.
It was one of the
this-
last things Orson Welles did.
No, this was the last thing Orson Welles did.
I think Orson Welles might have died before this movie came out.
85.
Yeah.
There you go.
But
So
you know,
he voiced it and then died and didn't have to see what his voice read.
well, I'm gonna give everything you guys put out a 1. Just
I'm sorry, that was
But the
awesome.
art was pretty good. Everything was bright red and bright blue because they're still playing at 10-year-old kids. But that being said, there was actual good stakes in this one as opposed to the TV shows where everybody always survives.
Yeah, I gotta agree with that. I did like the fact that they actually killed people.
well,
Like robots actually died.
Well, how about
Planets
the fact,
were completely destroyed and
How about
eaten.
the fact they cussed in this movie just so kids would watch it and it would be in theaters longer?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the one little thing.
Place. Fucking.
And I gotta say, for '86, Ryan is right. The artwork was well done. I'm glad that they didn't do any type of rotoscoping or any of that crap.
And especially for trying to, you drew all of that, and trying
Yeah.
to draw action scenes like that is really difficult, man. It's
Yeah, it
difficult
is.
for anyone.
Yeah, it's a really hard thing, and it's really credit to the artist at the time,
I mean, I do
because I
gotta-
mean that's really what artists really shot for, especially animators, getting that big of a movie budget and putting that much art into it. So they did a good job.
See, I guess I was the only major Transformers fan because I love this movie because when you got to see Unicron, you know, to me he was like the ultimate bad guy because he was this giant planet, you know that.
You know,
And then you had.
you could read the critics' reviews, and you're not the only one.
Oh, I realize this. You know, you had Unicron voiced by probably one of the greatest voice actors ever, who played the Shadow in the old radio drama back in the 50s or 40s.
Hell yeah.
Made people freak out.
Like anybody remembers that.
Overall, I don't know. I loved this movie. I mean, so what about you? Anything you liked about this movie? I know you got.
I already said. I mean, I thought the action sequences were crappy. So it's obviously not that, but I thought, I mean, the storyline was kind of.
What you're picking is about as good as this.
The storyline was just kind of, you know, but you know, I did enjoy the voice actors, of course. I mean, Orson Welles, Robert Stack. I mean, you know, there's some really good actors.
That was fun to me to try to pick those characters out.
What?
I said that was fun to me to try to pick those characters out, knowing who was in it. You know.
Yeah, you know, and I mean, I do like Eric Idle, although he didn't really have any funny lines in the film that I saw. You know, but there were some good things. I think the art was really well done, especially since there's artists that are actually hand drawing this. They have to do, you know, little pages of little movement every scene. So I mean, that was pretty cool. But you know, I just didn't really like it at all.
You could do for the time, I think.
Yeah. But for the time, I don't feel it holds up at all. I don't think the storyline really matches. I think the action sequences, you're just kind of like, really? I just feel like I can't follow this crap at all.
It's a ridiculous movie. If you tried to show an 11-year-old today, they would, like your younger daughter, walk out.
True, because they're used to watching people get heads ripped off and, you know.
No,
They
I
watch
think
violent
it's even
movies.
more than that.
No?
It's the stories track a little better. You know what I mean? There's more engaging dialogue. Obviously, you can see somebody's mouth move, so you're not just watching, like, wondering who's talking while you're looking for the tiniest little shake of their mouth.
Yeah.
Or their face mask.
Well, generally, they were pretty good. The only one that didn't really have anything that did anything was... Hello?
Huh?
I don't know.
I guess we had a caller.
No, I hung up. You know, there were a few scenes. I mean, if I really wanted to pick it apart, one of the few people that didn't actually move was Unicron. Even when he transformed, there was no movement but text or talk. There were a few issues. There were a few frame glitches and color changes and things like that. So I can see there being some sort of issue.
Well, and that's kind of stuff that you would expect when it's still hand drawn. When inanimate objects were about to move, like or a piece was about to break off, they had to shade it a different color so they knew where to start the breaking and continue the moving parts. So you kind of expect those little changes here and there, but it was really haphazard, you know, the way that they did it.
I agree. I think it was haphazard. I think there was just too much chaos.
But I think that a lot of the reasons I think you guys may not like it, it's because this is definitely a lot more simple storytelling than children's shows are today. I mean, this was kind of more like watch them transform in some action scenes where you have kids shows like have a lot more of a story than this had.
Yeah.
I mean, this is simple storytelling at its most.
Pretty much. It's back when they just assumed kids would, you know, like oh, this is really all they need. We'll save the adult type of stories for the adults, whereas kids relate to it still when you kind of take those same awesome stories that we know and bring them down to their level as opposed to just.
Totally.
Okay.
So I already know what James is going to give it. So James, what's your rating?
A 2.
Really? I'm actually impressed. Ryan?
I kind of have to agree. I can't give it a 1. It's not that bad. It's just
still
really a product
Transformers.
of its time.
It's still Transformers.
It's still Transformers.
I'm actually.
It's not their fault. It's the 80s.
Yeah.
I'm surprised considering this is better than pretty much all of Michael Bay's career.
Yeah, for the most part.
Which I don't think I've seen a Michael Bay movie that I haven't or I have liked.
Mm.
Well, everybody likes Armageddon.
I like the beginning, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
You can watch that whole movie anytime. It's one of those. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be perfect. It is what it is.
You say Transformers is impossible. Well, I'm trying to decide on what to give it because to me, I'm a huge fanboy, but I can't give it what I really want to just because it's not fair to the other stuff I give low ratings.
Look at what the category is, though. You know what I mean? Like this is movies that meant something to you as a kid. What would your 10-year-old self call this?
I'd probably give it a 4 to 5. Realistically, I mean that's what I get it. I mean I love it. You have Orson Welles, who's probably one of my all-time favorite voice actors, even as a kid. You have Don Messick, Statkin Carruthers, Judd Nelson, Robert Stack. I mean, you have the almost the who's of 80s voice acting in here, and you have a couple of people who are Ninja Turtles and other characters in the Ninja Turtles cartoons who are recognized too. And you had the Micro Machine guys. So it's a 4 to 5. This is really entertaining to me. I mean, I knew pretty much what I was getting into. There were other movies I was going to pick, but I figured I'd pick something that would get a lot better than a 1. I was really tempted to pick Class of Nukem High because I always thought it was entertaining as hell. But
Probably would have given that one a better rating.
I don't know. Last time I saw it, it didn't age well. And it was worse than this. So next what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the Band of Brothers, and it was...
Crossroads.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
I'll be starting this discussion off. This one has...
Well, actually, it's my turn.
I know, because it's the picker, the guy who picks the next one.
No, it's because I didn't do it last week.
Okay.
It's my turn.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Go ahead.
Is that right?
Go ahead.
Well, okay, well, you can go. Then you go first.
I was just going to say, this one has 2 of my best lines in this entire series.
What are they?
If you come across any bacon sandwiches, let me know.
Yes.
And then we're paratroopers. We're supposed to be surrounded.
Okay, yeah.
The 2 best quotes in this entire series are those 2 quotes to me. I just love the fact of, like, the first time I heard him say, go get me a bacon sandwich, I'm just like, dude, that makes me want a bacon sandwich.
Yeah, and I love the other part of that. Would you like a bacon sandwich? Yeah, another one, please.
Yeah. But this episode really, to me, this is the Winters episode. This one shows him as a leader, how he's viewed by his troops, and how he's viewed by the higher-ups.
Yeah, and he goes knucking futs, too, when he starts running.
Dude, yeah, I mean, like...
that's nuts.
When he tells him, wait for the red smoke, chucks it out there and starts booking it, and he comes up on, like, 30 Nazis.
Yeah, there was a lag on that smoke grenade.
Yeah, he's standing there, and he's got, like, this Nazi staring at him, unarmed, and he pops him, and then just turns around and starts popping all the other ones, and, it's like...
He didn't do like you see in all the other movies, where they pull the pin, count to something, and throw it. He just pulled it and throw it and went for it.
Yeah.
Which I thought was funny, because that one guy's like, wait for the signal, wait for the signal. But he's
yeah, I would have ran. I don't care what that guy said. I would have kept up with him.
Well, I love the whole cold opening of the episode started with that scene where he's booking it, kind of from his POV. You're not really seeing anything else, and then he runs across that guy, and all you see is that guy.
Yeah.
And then cut to the beginning of the story. But the whole time I'm like, okay, well, let's see. He ran upon a guy, so maybe they're gonna, kind of look at each other and decide, like, oh, it's just us. Shoot. And then when you find out later on, when it pans over, you see the whole platoon were the Nazis.
Yeah.
I'm heart sank.
I gotta say though, when I first saw this, when I saw Jimmy Fallon, it took me right out of it. It was like,
oh, no.
Really, Jimmy Fallon, you couldn't pick somebody better, like a deaf, blind midget?
I don't think Jimmy Fallon...
20 seconds to realize who it was.
Yeah, I don't think Jimmy Fallon really dropped it at all until the one guy asked him, do you have any mortar rounds? And then he kind of looks down and talks down to the ground for a little while. And that's the only part of Jimmy Fallon's acting that I have to be upset with in that entire... like 30 seconds that he's on the screen.
Well, I didn't see. As I said earlier when we told you we were doing this, I never saw it when it came out because of David Schwimmer, who I have a personal vendetta against because I don't like.
So this is the first time you knew that was Jimmy Fallon?
No. When I saw it originally, when I saw it, when I first time I saw it, it was Jimmy Fallon. I'm like, oh, no, not Jimmy Fallon, because not only do I generally not think he's funny, I don't think he's all that great of an actor. So you have this episode full of amazing actors and actresses, and you get Jimmy Fallon, and I was like, oh, that just took me right out.
Well, you bring me back to the other part of this. What I really take out of this episode, since I'm really only supposed to pick 2 parts, is that scene right there when they get there and they're being told that they're getting shipped out. They don't get told where.
Oh yeah, when they in the movie
They just get told during the movie that get your butt up, get out there, grab your ammo, grab your gear, get in the trucks and go. They don't get told anything else except for that they're going back out to the front.
Yeah.
Then they get there and they see all these guys walking the other way, beat up, bloodied, and they're like, "What the heck is going on? You're going the wrong way." And then they realize, "Oh crap, we are low on ammo still. Guys, give me your gear."
Which leads up to next week's episode, which is is it 6?
Yes, it is.
Episode
It's
6,
Baston.
Baston.
And
which is an amazing episode. Not going to spoil it, but it is an insane episode.
I'm just
Anybody who knows anything about World War II might recognize the name of Baston, France.
Yes,
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just amazing.
I want to let you know that we do have a Facebook page. Is there a movie you want us to do? Is there a theme? We were recently asked to do sports movies. Is do you really hate us like apparently the schmucks at the Wing Commander forums do?
Hey guys.
Or do you want to give us a couple of bucks and help us continue on the air? Hit the donate page on the website. Let us know. And
I'll hit any donate page.
And I don't know if you guys are a fan of Studio Ghibli. They are closing. This is the Hayao Miyake. I can never say his name right. You know him?
What have they done? Just remind me what they've done.
They did movie like Princess Mononoke. They did movies like Nausicaa and Valley of the Wind. They did Our Neighbor Totoro.
Did they do House Moving Castle too?
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle. This is a legendary animation studio in Japan.
And they're closing?
And they're closing. The Outer Quality Red's talking about they're basically getting rid of everybody, and what's going to be left is to protect the copyrights and the IP.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, there are people there aren't going to be hurting. I mean, they're going to get jobs other places. I mean, they've won Oscar with those.
Oh no, it's just because I'm a fan of their work. Really, that I was really sad because you have some amazing stories, and you have a very distinct animation style, and you grow up watching these movies, and you're just like, damn, that I want the next one. Because they did stuff like Castle in the Sky, Grave of the Fireflies, My Neighbor Toro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Only Yesterday, Porco Rosso. These are highly famous anime.
Yeah.
I mean, when people think about watching cartoons, they say, "Oh, I watched this," not realizing that it was animation. It was anime. So it was kind of. I always thought this kind of bridged the gap for a lot of Western, watchers.
Okay, but yeah, that's really sad that they're closing down.
Yeah, and the other news, and my computer here just really hiccuped.
Thank you, Apple.
Right? Holy crap, it really did. I lost my page. I am sorry about that.
You can't call Steve Jobs to fix it anymore.
You have to just filibuster.
And the other news, like give or take, because I don't know how much I believe it's going to come out. Allegedly, the Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, will have a limited edition release coming out next year, and so total it'd be like a 4-hour 5 movie with Kill Bill 1 and 2 mixed in its appropriate places. The question is, do you believe it, and would you watch it? Because I would. It won't be coming to Sacramento.
I would like to watch it. I would like to own it. But I've been wanting to own that for so long that I just am whatever.
So
yeah, I'd be interested to see that. I mean, I watched the recut of Pulp Fiction where they put everything in order. That was weird.
I haven't seen that. I totally want to see that.
It's even weirder than watching it out of order.
I totally want to see that. Never mind.
Okay.
there was a movie, and I completely forgot the name. It was literally on the tip of my tongue. It was completely filled out of order, and it's with one of my all-time favorite actors who I can't remember.
Must not be that important.
I haven't had apparently enough caffeine today. The other thing I want to say is, I don't know if anybody here is fans of Michael Ironside. I found an interview, and he almost never does actual interviews. It's on the Real Flix Reviews Facebook page. Check it out. It's a very short interview, but it's something he never does. And I know everybody out there knows who Michael Ironside is. He was the voice of Sam Fisher. He was in the original Total Recall with Schwarzenegger. He was in Top Gun. He's done 1,000 movies. If you're a fan of really bad 90s movies, he did one called Neon City, which is hilarious. So check it out. It's actually a pretty amazing, 10-minute interview.
Okay.
And next week's movie is his.
Mine.
So what movie are you going to make us watch?
This one I had a little bit of difficulty with. I had about 5 movies that I finally boiled it down to. But I'm going to go with one that
It sucks.
I finally boiled it down to one that I used to watch a lot as a kid. And it's Star Wars A New Hope.
And so, okay, the question is original theatrical release?
Original theatrical release. Screw you, idiots.
So too bad you can't find those.
You can't. It's just, you can't.
Yeah, you can. They're on VHS. Or beta.
Okay.
If they were actually on beta, they have they're 2 tapes because
Just,
beta was an hour long.
If you're under the age of 30, 31, thereabouts, watch it with an older person and just have them explain to you all the bullshit that they changed.
Or people that have watched most of the movie and know it's bullshit.
Han shot first. Greedo didn't shoot at all.
That's
How about Han didn't have to shoot first because Greedo never shot?
Well, hey, all I'm saying is Han shot first. That's the only thing. I'm going to save all this vitriolic hatred.
Han shot. That's it.
Okay.
By the way, if you can't tell, we're sci-fi and movie fans, and we hate when things get screwed with.
Yeah. Especially whiny bitches who need to be in the freaking episode 4.
Watch. There's a South Park episode about this. So make sure you watch it. You'll understand our opinion.
Yeah, there you go.
And don't forget to watch episode 6. Baston of Band of Brothers. I gave the movie movie Transformers a
Way
4
too
out
much.
of 5. A 4 out of 5. Not surprising, fanboy. James gave it a 2 out of 5. Ryan gave it a 2 out of 5. The old guy is doing Hootenanny or whatever.
He gave
that
it
is
a 1.
He gave it a 1.
No, he didn't say it, so it doesn't count.
He'll say it next week.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and as always, we'll see you
Goodbye.
next week.
Thank you.